Ladies and gentlemen, KocoSports.com proudly presents Wrestle AM. It's half wrestling show, half morning show, pretty much all BS. And of course, you got half the Coco crew here holding it down live. Yours truly, sexiest man on all of Internet Wrestling Radio. Boom, boom, here shaking the room live from the RVA, Richmond, Virginia. And of course, joining me down there, he's in the dirty South talking about Sammy Synister. Good to see you.
Good seeing you yet again.
Yeah, I know, man. Now we've got to talk some NXT TakeOver. The end. This is the end. Sorry, Doors reference, kids. Ask your parents. But no, we got this one in the books here. Now, this is, it's kind of scary because they're like, this is the end of the beginning. So, wait a minute. This is the end of the beginning, but how do we know it's not the middle? The middle, the middle of the end? Yeah, but I know they were obviously referring to the. Hopefully, they're just referring to the feud between Samoa Joe and Finn Balor.
They talked. We'll get there. They talked about it post in an interview that Triple H did with Kathy Kelly. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Okay. Well, of course, the first question we're going to ask is win, loss, or tie. What do you give it?
A win, like the weakest of wins, like right just above a tie.
I'm going to agree with you. I liked it. I just didn't love it.
That's kind of how I was. Like, the matches were good, don't get me wrong. I just had absolutely nothing invested in this pay-per-view. They did a horrible job promoting this.
That and, outside the matches, I mean, nothing really big happened. I was expecting like some kind of huge surprise, and chances are everybody's seen this by now. So I'm going to say the only quote unquote surprise, and there was only like two, and I guess they could be like minor surprises, was we had a new tag team debut, and then we saw like a cameo of Bobby Roode, but that was it.
Yeah, that was it.
I was like, and it wasn't done to like, where do we go from here? Where are we going now? What are we going to, there was none of that in there. I think it was simple. It was just going there. Let's just knock out these 5 matches and be done with it.
Yeah, that's kind of how I felt.
All right, so let's start it out. They started out with Ty Dillinger taking on Andre Almas Andre Cien Almas, the former La Sombra. And I came out. Apparently, okay, now, Almas, when he came out, I was like, oh, shit, please tell me we aren't going to have another Spanish-speaking guy wrestling in all white. Please, God, no. Please, God. Because it looked like he looked like a cross between early Tommy Dreamer and The Godfather.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought.
Because he had, like, the suspenders and he had the hat with a feather. And I was like, no. And then all of a sudden he took all that off. He's wearing like blue tights. I'm like, oh, thank you, merciful God.
Yeah, so was I. I was so scared. And I'm still really disappointed because I love the vignettes they did for this guy.
Oh, yeah.
I loved them. And then he came out and it was 100% different. And I wasn't digging it. And I still got to see his character. The match is great, but I was not a huge fan of the character. Sure.
Yeah, to me, it looked like, and this is just my opinion, it looked like a luchador actually holding back. Is what he looked like. He's like, I could really go at a breakneck speed. I can, start doing some deep arm drags and do some planches off the top, but it's like, I can't do that. So to me, it just like he was holding back the entire time.
Yeah, that's kind of how I felt. I mean, the match was really good.
And another thing, I don't want to sell Ty Dillinger short either. I think Ty Dillinger did a great job.
Oh, yeah, Ty Dillinger, man. God, I wish they'd stop using him as enhancement talent just because I think his gimmick is over enough now that he can be a babyface, man. I think he can be not on the main roster yet, but have him be a major contender on NXT for a little while. Have him be a babyface because, man, the 10 gimmick is over like a motherfucker.
Oh, yeah, he's over. I think he might have been probably one of the worst opponents they could have picked for Almas.
I agree.
And I don't mean that in a sense of, oh, no, I mean, he wasn't a good wrestler. Like, no. Like, the whole purpose was to debut Andre Cien Almas and get him over as a babyface, but the crowd was solidly behind Ty Dillinger.
Yeah, 100% behind Ty Dillinger.
In fact,
not to say that they didn't like some of the stuff that.
Oh yeah.
Because he had some cool spots, some super cool spots. But I agree. I think this is a poor decision.
I like that one spot where Almas was balancing on his head on the turnbuckle, and Dillinger was like, "What the fuck?" and just super kicked him right in the fucking face.
That was a great one.
Everybody fucking popped for that.
I thought that was a great one. He did some cool lucha stuff. I like the one where he was gonna go do a dive out of the ring, but just jump between the second and first and second rope and stay there. That was cool. I took my notes, but unfortunately, my cat knocked over my water onto all of my notes. So everyone thank my cat Pepper for not having my notes with me. But I mean, there was another really cool spot. What was it? He had some really. I liked both times he did that was cool. And what was so cool about the second time he did it is because he did it once, okay, and then he did it the second time, and then Ty Dillinger again, like you said, was like, "Oh, I see you, pop." Kid's got a great look. I don't understand the suspenders and the hats, but if I had to rate like this match on its own, I'd say this match is, B-.
I think it was a good debut.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't perfect by any means, but I mean but this is what I like about NXT. Well, we're like, well, I like this, but I don't. This is the whole point. This is the whole point of NXT.
And I think we lose sight of that sometimes.
They're going to flesh them out. They're going to be some things that work. There are going to be some things that don't work. They're going to add some things. They're going to take some things away. And one thing I would like to tell them is, dude, don't hold back.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it looked like he was holding back, and that's like, and if I'm saying that, I know I'm not the only fan thinking that.
Oh yeah.
And I think Ty Dillinger, he's got a bright future, because if the rumors are correct and we've got some call-ups coming, and if he doesn't go, which I don't think he is, I think this is a perfect opportunity for him to step up. And
absolutely.
I think he would be embraced by the fans.
Yeah, I mean, he has worked so hard to make that gimmick over, in the crowd, and a lot of it, you got to be really careful with the NXT crowd, because me and LK talked about this a little bit. It could be that it's just the NXT crowd that is getting over with the 10 gimmick, but I think it's great. I think it can work. I think it's more of a heel gimmick. I think it can work for both though, and if Finn goes up, and he gets some really solid wins under his belt over the next month or two, I think he could be a legit opponent for Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe would win, but I think that he could be legit.
Yeah, okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I agree with that. Let's see, the next, they have NXT tag match, American Alpha defending against the Revival. And in my humble opinion, match of the night.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm not going to argue with that at all. This is absolutely match of the night.
I mean, this was, good tag team wrestling. My particular favorite was when Alpha got in there with Dash and Dawson. They started emulating each other's moves, and they both ended with like a double ankle lock.
Yeah.
Dude, everybody fucking popped for that. And
I dug it.
But ultimately, it was not meant to be for the champions. They went over to Dawson rolled up Gable with a handful of tights. That didn't get the job done. They go into a little bit of chaos. Gable tags in Jordan. He goes in and he walked right into the Shatter Machine.
Oh, right into it. Not the cleanest finish I've ever seen.
But they got the win. And not only that, but the Revival makes history because they recaptured the NXT tag team titles, making them the first ever two-time champions.
Period. Not the first two-time tag team champions. This is the first time anyone's ever been a two-time champion in NXT, period.
So they're the first to do it. And,
which I'm okay with. Honestly, I think they're great. I think their gimmick works. I think Jordan and Gable did not need the titles to get over. I think that puts...
I just hate that they had such a short run. They only had...
I agree. I wish it was longer.
And then you kind of find out, and you kind of think why, because there's rumors, and I do stress rumors, so please don't take this as gospel truth, that they may just get called up. And so they had to. If
they do it right and they give them some good vignettes, there's a thriving tag team about to take off with this brand split, and I think Jordan and Gable have a great place somewhere in one of those rosters.
Yeah, and and here, I'm going to go into like a little bit of a theory here, because after the match, they get attacked by these two huge guys. They're wearing black pants, tank tops, and they're going there and they just beat the shit. It was the Authors of Pain. Now, I know I've talked about them a little bit. They've been on some of the house shows recently, and I know I've mentioned them. And what the surprise was is you had Paul Ellering come out. Now, for those of you who may not know who he is, he managed the Road Warriors back in the day. He's also the manager of Mad Dog Buzz Sawyer. He managed, let's see, the Legion. No, it wasn't LOD 2000. It was, I think it was the Disciples of Apocalypse. It was somewhere like during the Attitude Era. Yeah. He's a Hall of Famer. He comes out there, apparently he's back in the managing game, and that, to me, that was a shocker. Now,
that was a pretty cool one.
Yeah, there's some, and I've got some sub theories about Ellering, but I'll get to that in a second. But now, one of the things that I heard about, WWE, and again, this is the rumors floating around the dirt sheet, is they're talking about calling up American Alpha for the summertime. And if that's the case, you can't just have them get to like NXT take over Brooklyn and just lose the championships there. It's going to kill all their momentum going into the main roster. And plus, you don't want them to go out on a downer.
Yeah.
So I guess you go ahead and take your medicine now. You have them lose the championships. Now they're free to go up at any time. But they can immediately now have to focus. They don't have to focus on the champions, because this is the whole point. They have to now focus on the Authors of Pain, and now they're obviously going to want revenge on them more so for, attacking them while they were down, embarrassing them. And if they can get a win over them at Brooklyn, they go, they beat them, they go out on a upper, and then they're out. Then they're out. They get, they get that big, good send off, which I feel like they deserve, because those were two guys who busted, particularly Jordan. Busted their. And everybody's like saying, "Oh, what about Gable?" No, Gable has only been. He's only been on the main roster since October.
Yeah,
I mean that's amazing in his own right. But Jordan has been down there, I think, 7 years now?
Something like that.
I mean, it's been a while. I mean, he was in Florida Championship Wrestling, for crying out loud. I mean, that was back when Tyler Breeze was still Matt Dalton.
Yeah.
In fact, teamed with him at one point. So that gives you any idea how long he's been developmental. And so I think that would be just a good way to send him out. Now, Ellering, on the other hand, one theory, I didn't get to thinking about this until the other night, was, remember when his daughter popped up?
No.
Paul Ellering's daughter popped up and wrestled. I mean, it was like a squash. She got squashed. I think it was against like Alexa Bliss. It was a few weeks ago. I know it's on one of the.
I do remember that. Yeah, I guess I never put two and two together.
Yeah, she was wrestling. Now, I don't know if that was part of the deal. I don't know if they said, "Hey, will you come in and can we use you to?" I don't know if he signed a Legends contract, but I can imagine they could do something like that. It's like, "Hey, we want to cash in the Legends contract. We want you to manage this team we got coming up here." It's like, I don't know. It's like, "Oh, we'll give your daughter a look." Okay, why not? Or, hey, we gave your daughter a look. Will you manage this tag team now?
Yeah.
I could see something like that happening. So
yeah, some behind the scenes stuff going on.
Yeah, I could see. And nothing's bad. I mean, I just kind of I like Ellering, and it's good to see him back. I'm interested to see where they go with this tag team, what their motivations
honestly, are. When I first saw this tag team, and hopefully they're good, I honestly thought it was just WWE's take on the Guerrillas of Destiny, because they have a very, very similar look.
You are right. Now, I know during the Florida house shows that they were on, they had like masks on, like these black, kind of like Bane mask on. But this one, they were completely unmasked for that. So maybe
I'm all about mask wrestling, so bring back the mask.
Yeah, the only thing they were missing was the white face paint.
Yeah, I think WWE is pretty notorious for stealing successful tag team gimmicks. Axe and Smash, whatever. Yeah,
that's another thing. But the good sign about that is, the only good thing about that is at least we know now that WWE watches New Japan.
Oh yeah, I don't think they're just getting around the fact that these guys are a take on the Guerrillas of Destiny, and they're obviously. I mean, we kind of knew it going into it, but I think this is just the final nail in the coffin. They're watching New Japan, because you could argue like, oh, they've seen some clips of Nakamura, and they knew how good he was, and they kind of watched, they saw this guy kind of come up, but they could always claim like, well, we really didn't watch New Japan. No, like, no, you're taking a take on a successful but rather unknown tag team. So, come on.
Only nerds would know the answer to that.
Oh yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. Right. All right. Next here, let's see. The next match was Shinsuke Nakamura versus Austin Aries. You know what? I thought this was a good match, and I liked the mythology of it. It was going back and forth, and I think it really helped out Aries more so than anything else, because it gives Aries something to do, but it just ends. I mean, this was nowhere near as good as the Nakamura Zayn match in the last event they had. But Nakamura gets the win with the Kinshasa. Crowd goes crazy.
Good match, solid work. The problem is this. You had a very yin and yang here, because you had the yin, which was Nakamura, and all the personality and storytelling and athleticism that he has in the ring, and how he can use his athleticism to tell a story. And you have Austin Aries, who's a good wrestler. You could literally, if you went down every stat for Austin Aries, you could say, he's good, which doesn't sound like I know my tone of voice would dictate that I'm saying that as a negative, and I am, because he's so white meat and just bland that it hurts him in the long run. This match helped, but I'll tell you one thing that infuriated me about this match. The fans were so goddamn annoying. I love Nakamura's theme as much as the next guy. You don't have to sing it 4 or 5 times in the match. And that's the biggest problem with TakeOver. When they do takeovers in Orlando anyway, is that the crowd's awful down there. But God, they were singing it when it made no sense, and it was just super fucking annoying. But all in all, it was a good match.
And by the way, for Your Honor, for further evidence that WWE is watching New Japan, I'd like to submit this into evidence here. When Austin Aries gave the Death Valley driver to Nakamura on the ring apron.
Yeah.
That was copied a few weeks ago from the Will Ospreay Ricochet match.
Yes, it was.
Best of the Super Juniors. I think what really hurt this match, I mean, it was a good match. I mean, I have no problems with this match whatsoever, but it's just like, I still don't know what Austin Aries is. Is he a face? Is he a heel?
What the fuck is he?
You know,
and the build-up for this match was terrible.
You know, here's what I thought was going to happen. What I thought was going to happen was that Bobby Roode was going to come out, interfere. He was going to cost Nakamura the match. Austin Aries was going to win. You're going to see the Dirty Heels reunite at NXT. They were going to 2-on-1 Nakamura, and this would eventually lead to the return of Hideo Itami.
I think that would have been better.
But the match just ended, and that was it.
Yeah, Nakamura wins. Which, I mean, I'm cool. I love Nakamura, but just, I don't know. There was a lot of issues with this match, but outside of the ring, it was weird. Inside of the ring, there was not a flaw with this match. It was fantastic. Just too many other problems.
And then next we get to the NXT women's match. We have Asuka versus Nia Jax. Now, I like the story going into this because, you know, Asuka, you know, it can take anybody's head off. And the Nia Jax is like a monster that can do some of the same moves that Mint can do. And so I like this. It's like, well, Asuka, you keep, I mean, this isn't like, you know, a Bayley. This isn't like an Alexa Bliss. This isn't like, you know, a Sasha Banks. This isn't some, you know, 5 foot nothing, 100-pound girl that you can just go in there and muscle around and kick her head off. This is a fucking huge woman. You know, this is a beast. You know, you can't do all that stuff. So what are you going to do essentially if your arsenal's cut in half? Yeah. So I like that story. You know, going in here, it's like she's tough. We know she's good, but Nia Jax is a monster.
Yeah.
You can't do all the stuff that you would normally do. How are you going to change your game plan? And for a while, it looked pretty good because Nia Jax virtually had an answer for everything that Asuka could dish out.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, this is getting interesting. And then eventually, Asuka turns up the heat and starts delivering kicks. And I mean, I think it was a little ridiculous at the end, but popped her in the head again, dropped her down to one knee, and then just Nia Jax just screams, Asuka, you know, whatever, like Tatsu, Kaneda, plus 50 million points if you get that fucking reference. And just pops her right in the head one last time, knocks her the fuck out, pins her, gets the win. But here's another problem.
Yep.
Nia Jax's credibility's done.
It's over.
I mean, she's lost to two smaller girls now. She got choked out by Bayley in London, and now she got her head kicked off by Asuka at Full Sail University. Okay, what are you going to do now? Okay, you're going to have her go around, muscle around some more girls? She's done that.
I honestly would have had this match end, and I'm about to get crucified and get some nuclear heat. I would have had this match end in a disqualification. And how I would have got it ended in a disqualification is the same thing that I can't remember if it was you or somebody else I talked to about this, that if I was booking, it was the same thing I would do in a Samoa Joe versus John Cena match, is have just something so simple that no one ever does, and it would be so cool. Have Nia Jax get Asuka in a hold, have Asuka make it to the ropes, and then don't break the 5 count. Get a DQ. Yeah, Nia Jax wins, but Asuka retains. I think they did a much better job with this match of showing that showing that Nia Jax is a monster, and you really have to work super hard to take her down. Unlike the Bayley Nia Jax match, which I'm going to be honest, I absolutely could not stand because it was just chokehold after chokehold after chokehold. I'm like, okay, I fucking get it. You're better than this, Bayley. Do something else. But yeah, this match had some glaring problems. And Asuka being my favorite ladies wrestler in the world, this entire thing, the entire takeover, I just had nothing invested in it. They put no reason for me to want to invest in this. And then they called it the end. I'm like, ooh, this is the end. What's the end of? What's the end of? And then there was the end of nothing. So, but we'll do some final thoughts and get into that.
All right. Let's just go to the end here. We had the end. Finn Balor versus Samoa Joe, steel cage match. Now, looking at this overall, I really didn't have a problem with the match. There's one thing I would have changed, and that is I wish they would have just bolted the fucking door shut.
Yeah, I fucking hate that.
I hate that. You should have the door to get in the fucking cage. That is it. That is the only reason that door should exist. Once it's in, you should just take a chain, padlock it, and be done with it. Because here's the thing that happens every goddamn time you have one of those cage matches. Okay, the door's right there. You've got your guy completely incapacitated. In fact, they mentioned it at one point.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, well, Finn Balor could have just walked out the door. I don't think he realized how close he really was. He's just so focused on attacking Samoa. No, he looks fucking stupid.
Yeah, and I'm going to be completely honest with you. For that reason, I don't really like cage matches. It's really hard for me to take out my willing suspension of disbelief, especially in Full Sail. And Full Sail didn't help. Where that cage was much tinier, it was little. And then you can just walk through the door. I didn't have that issue with the cage match they had in Lucha Underground because they didn't fucking go for it. And it was really tall, and you had to work. So when you're taking your time climbing, it felt real when someone had enough time to crawl over to you and pull you down. Here it was, and part of this wasn't their fault. Whenever they started walking towards, I'm going to pull you down, I'm going to pull you down. I didn't fucking believe it. I was like, you just look stupid. You look slow and like you're purposely slowing yourself down so the other guy can catch you.
Yeah, Balor ran into that a couple of times.
Yeah, I honestly, as much of a Balor fan I am, last couple months, he's disappointed me a couple times.
It's like, yeah, if you'll just move your ass, you can get. You mean to tell me you can't outrun Samoa Joe?
Yeah.
You can't tell me that he can't do that. It's like, dude, he's like, okay, taking my time, getting up to the top of the cage here. Okay, gonna throw my leg over. Yeah. Well, I guess all I gotta do is throw the other leg over. Oh, he got me by the ankle.
If you're gonna do that, and you knew you were limited, and I know I'm getting a little nitpicky. I'm like, you don't wrestle, so you can't say I know, but I know what I watch, and I know what makes me stop believing. Because wrestling, at the end of the day, you have to, with any movie, any live event that's a stage event, you have to have willing suspension of disbelief, and you can take that away. If you wanted me to believe that Finn Balor was so slow getting up that cage, and Samoa Joe had time to catch him. Work a body part, and I'm usually not a guy that says work a body part. Work a leg, attack a knee, and then have him I'll sell the hell out of that knee climbing up, and then have your announcers go, if only his knee hadn't have given out, if only Samoa Joe hadn't attacked that knee, he would have been able to get out right there.
Mm-hmm.
The more I think about it, the less I like this match.
Oh, I know, and it wasn't necessarily. I mean, props to WWE for making me care about it, because I'm like, this is going to be the fourth time these guys have clashed for the title, third one on television, and it's like, what can they do? It's like, but they made me care about it, and I do like that one spot where they, I think it was Samoa Joe, Balor threw Samoa Joe to the cage wall or something. He kicked him, knocked him out or something, and Samoa Joe comes down the top rope and it winds up crotching.
That was
Balor.
A cool spot.
That was
I liked the final spot and it would have been better off the top rope, that Samoa Joe might not have had the balls to do it, and I don't blame him because Samoa Joe's a big boy. I liked the muscle buster off the second rope. Thought that was cool. Yeah. And for all accounts and purposes, this wasn't a bad match. It had some glaring issues, and I'm going to cut you off real quick. Because you know what my biggest issue with this, and I said this on the preview show between me and LK and Wrestling Ranted. If you're watching Wrestling Ranted, I saw your shout out. I very much appreciate it. Wrestling Ranted completely 100% agreed with me. I would have had going into this match, have it go, you're both going to have a match. Kind of like how they did for the Seth Rollins. What the hell is his name? Not John. Why did I forget? Randy Orton match. The Seth Rollins, where you both win, and if you win, you get to make a stipulation about the match. I'd have Finn Balor go out there and win and just completely crush somebody and goes, you can't use the Coquina Clutch. So everyone's like, oh my God, he can't use his second move, his biggest move he's won the most with. And have Samoa Joe out there win and look really cocky. I was like, you know what, Finn? I'm not going to take away any of your moves. You can use anything you want to beat me. I don't care. But you can't be the Demon. And that, to me, that would have been perfect, because you're going to do two things, and this is my biggest problem with the match. Mm-hmm. It would have protected the Demon gimmick.
Exactly, because this is the first time
still would have been undefeated. Still been undefeated. The Demon gets protected. He still looks strong, and it separates Finn Balor and the Demon. Out of this, Samoa Joe beat him. Demon looks a little weaker.
Yeah, I agree. I wish they would have protected the Demon a little bit. But here's another thing that disappointed me is after the match is over, Samoa Joe, he's celebrating. There's Finn Balor selling the injury, and that's it. I'm like, who the fuck's the challenger? I mean, you got to have something. You got to have. Is there a new debut? I mean, who's going to be the new number one contender? It's there's got to be. If you
were going to end it like this, there needed to be another match in there that was a number one contenders match.
You need to have something, because now I guess you ended on such a fucking downer.
Yeah, I completely don't care now, and I love Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe's one of my top 5 favorite wrestlers in the world right now. NXT, man, last 2 or 3 months, ever since Mania, they have been on a steady decline. And I'm really not happy with NXT.
And I think it may be because they've got a new writer or something, because I know the writer that they did have went to SmackDown, and I know they've been trying to play catch up.
Yeah.
I mean, this year has just not been good for them. I mean, we're halfway through 2016 and we're still making excuses for them.
How long do we have to keep making excuses for NXT? Honestly, I think ever since, I don't know, I couldn't tell you whenever it was. Maybe since Brooklyn, it's been on a very minute but steady decline.
Well, I will agree that Brooklyn was an apex. I mean, that was definitely a high spot.
That was the highest spot, because London wasn't bad.
London wasn't bad, and then they just completely shit the bed in 2016, because they start January off doing a best of.
Yeah.
To me, that's a red flag. And then they spent a good chunk of the spring just doing shows. I think they showed some shows from Central Florida, the show that they did there at UCF. And then they did. Then they spent almost 2 months showing stuff that happened at WWE Access,
which was terrible.
It was all their stuff at Mania. And then I was like, okay, let's get back. Okay, let's get back on track. And then it was just, what's the point of watching NXT now? Because
honestly,
because all the important stuff happens on the actual big events. That's it.
I'm going to say what I think a lot of people are feeling right now, and I might get some fucking nuclear heat, okay?
Yes.
I'm going to say, because I think there's a lot of people that are thinking about this. For the last month or two, maybe even 3 months, we'll say since Mania, Raw has been better than NXT.
Ooh.
I'll say it. I'll be brave. I'll put it on the internet. I don't give a fuck.
You know, and it's kind of hard to disagree because, I mean, I've had some NXT shows where I've said, you know what, these are just glorified house shows. I mean, nothing gets accomplished. I mean, there's no reason to watch.
Yeah, there's no reason to watch. The matches aren't the best when they're there. They're just and when you film fucking like 3 or 4 months, 2 months, we'll say when you film like 2 months at Access and 2 months at Central Florida, and you're like, oh Jesus fucking Christ, give me something. And a lot of it's not their fault. I'll give them this, and that their roster has been cherry picked a little more than it should have been. There's a couple people that really needed to stay in NXT, but yeah, man, I've given a loss to a couple of Raws. But I've given more wins to Raw than I have to NXT.
Yeah, and the story is that there's going to be some more raids.
Yeah, there's going to be some more raids. Oh, so getting on that, for y'all that didn't stick around on Facebook after the event, which it's kind of cool, but it's a complete cop-out to me. Kathy Kelly interviewed Triple H, or he was like, okay, Triple H, what is the end? He's like, well, this isn't just the end of Finn Balor and Samoa Joe, which I think we can safely assume Finn Balor's going to go to the main roster. He might take some time off, get pretty healthy, and show up for SummerSlam. That's my guess. But he pretty much said that this is the end of NXT as it was. NXT is going to be its own brand now. Like there's Raw, SmackDown, NXT. But it kind of was that already. Which is, I mean, I'm cool that that's going to be a touring brand now, and you can go see NXT. Which, bear with me, listen to what I'm saying, guys. It's a brand now. It's going to be the third brand. It's not just the developmental. Developmental is going to be the Performance Center. NXT is a brand. But that's a super cop-out answer to me. It's a bullshit. It's a politician answer, and I don't like it. If you're going to call something the end, it better goddamn well be the end of something.
Yeah. And plus, you know, here's another thing I've been hearing. I hear that the WWE actually wanted either Nakamura or Samoa Joe to fill a spot in the club.
Can I say that's the worst idea ever?
Yeah.
Because I would fucking love to see it, but neither one of those guys need it. The Bullet Club needs to be what it is in Japan, and that it's someplace. It's guys that can't find their own way. You stick them in the club, get them some heat, have them get super over because the club's over, and then have them whittle their way out and find their own little niche, whether it's in the Bullet Club or not. Which I think the Bullet Club's fucking brilliant in that regard. Because their next set of young boys, they're getting on up there. That's what the club. Even though that's a terrible name, I wish the fucking God they would just go ahead and buy the rights to the Bullet Club and say, we're the fucking Bullet Club.
The firearms enthusiast.
There you go. Fucking firearms enthusiasts. God damn it. We're the NRA. But, yeah, that's what the club needs to be. And honestly...
We are the proponents of projectiles fired from...
We are proprietors of solid projectile fire or weapons. There you go.
See, we're already coming up with better names.
There you go. The club's just really bad. And honestly, even though it's too late to now, you know who I would have put as the leader of the club and then have them kind of be like what I said the club is, which is where you put people that can't find their way over and can't do that and have them get over that way, which not everyone will, but you'll have a better success. I would have made Seth Rollins the leader of the Bullet Club in WWE. Because it fits his character. He's Weasley. He can use them to get over. He can still win on his own. He has an army behind him, people he can manipulate to do what he needs to do, and people that will follow his every single word. I think he would have been the perfect leader of the club. Plus, I just want to see him in that fucking shirt.
Wow. I agree with you, but hey, This NXT, I'm going to say, if you haven't checked it out, I would recommend checking it out. But
Yeah, by all means, watch it.
Again, I say I like it. I just didn't love it.
Yeah.
And
if it seems like we're being really negative here, I'm being more nitpicky than usual. I think Dave's worn off on me a little bit. But
I really hope that WWE NXT can get their shit together for the second half of 2016. It's not too late. You know, you can get. I mean, they've already done some tapings at Full Sail University. In fact, they did them tonight, as a matter of fact. And I've not read spoilers, so nobody give that away, or I'll fucking kill you.
I refuse. If you post spoilers of any kind on the comments on anything, I will find you, and I will piss on everything you love.
Yep. And then, and I hope they can really survive this onslaught of call-ups.
Yeah. I guess maybe this is what we're both trying to say and haven't put into words yet. My problem wasn't with the show. The show was just fine. Had some great matches and some low points and some high points if we're nitpicky. My problem right now is with NXT.
Yeah, I just really felt like they're capable of putting on a better product than what they've actually put out. I mean, I think because I want to be drawn into the story. I want to be, have incentive to watch NXT every Wednesday night.
Yeah.
But now it's just like, okay, it doesn't really matter because I know maybe I just need to follow along on YouTube a little bit here, maybe read the dirt sheets to kind of keep on the up and up. But I know that the really important stuff's not going to happen until I guess now Brooklyn.
Yeah.
All right, but enough of that. Let's get to some comments. Let's play comment time.
Go with some comments.
We'll zip through this here. I want to give a shout out to Andy Paps, Ray Mastani,
Hey, Andy.
Rennie Soms. Anybody? Who else am I missing? Yeah, anybody else I forgot. But thanks you guys for checking out, for sticking with us and checking us out tonight. When will Finn debut? I would say keep an eye on the draft.
Here's what I'm gonna pause time out real quick, and I'm gonna give a really extended answer to that. Here's Sammy Sinister's spectacular booking. You ready for this? Here's what I would do. Have them do the draft and have them do like, I pick this person, and then have whoever it is. I would probably say whichever show. I don't even know what show I would put Finn Balor on, honestly. But I would say Shane. I would have Shane go, I'm going to take this person, and just have it be a blank something. And have Stephanie be like, who's that? Be like, it's nobody that's taken, and it's nobody that's on the roster right now. That's my ace in the hole. And she's like, you can't do that. It's like, too late. I already did. Don't got to worry about it. You're not losing anybody. And then have her and then just play vignette after vignette that are, and me and OK talked about this, vignettes that are super obscure. Just say, like, it's coming. He's coming. And just, like, show glimpses of things real quick. And then have one of your big heels, like, pump up, like, no one can beat me. I'm the best. No one can beat me at SummerSlam. I need an opponent. Blah, blah, blah. And then have Shane go, okay, I got you an opponent. Who is it? You'll see. And play that up for a little bit, and then maybe have it like tease like you're going to see, and then just give smaller and smaller clues as to who it is, so your hardcore fans are going to know who it is, but your casuals aren't. Or maybe not even do that. Just keep it super obscure. And then finally at WrestleMania, be like, I'm ready for my match, and he's out there, and then the lights go out, and you hear the dum-dum. I would pop so fucking hard for that. And have him debut as the Demon, not as Finn Balor. Then explain who Finn Balor is.
That works for me. I think ultimately he's going to wind up on whatever roster the club is on, because I think that's just, if they separate them, that's money they're leaving on the table.
Yeah.
In fact, Ray Mastani even asked, here's a follow-up question: is Finn overrated because fans are starting to not like him?
No, Finn's absolutely fantastic. Finn is one of the best wrestlers on the planet right now. Bad NXT booking and writing isn't the problem with him. I think, honestly, Finn Balor will be the next babyface Undertaker. He's going to be your dark Avenger guy that everybody loves.
Yeah, I think it's. I don't think they were turning on him. I think it was just, well, what new thing are you going to show me? Okay, he had his ascension to the championship, so he won the championship. He became the longest reigning NXT champion. He defended against all comers. He lost it to Samoa Joe, and then wound up wrestling the same guy 4 times.
Yeah,
and it's just
I think lack of more opponents hurt Finn Balor.
It's just okay. What's there left for him to do?
Because the only people he defended against were Kevin Owens and Finn Balor, and he had the damn thing for almost a year. So I think he needed more opponents to make it feel more worth it when Samoa Joe did beat him. Also, just because I was looking through here and I was going through them with you, Rennie Somms, bro.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I'm upset with you. Mm-hmm. I am upset with you. You done? I have not finished night 2. I'm heartbroken. Heartbroken. You got to give me your address because I've got to come to you and I've got to piss on everything you love. I'm sorry. I warned you. I warned you. You did not tell me. I'm sorry. Continue.
But for those of you if you can't see it or if you're watching this later, he's talking about the Lucha World Cup. I have watched both days. Sammy's only watched day 1, and Rennie Somms just dropped a massive spoiler. He actually recommended we watch it. I managed to find it, and so I sent it to Sammy, and we're going to watch it. We're actually going to review it, so that is coming. It's just not been a good week for us to do this. So we're going to review the Lucha World Cup, which took place down in Mexico City this past weekend. So, we're going to check. We'll review that for you. You'll make up your mind if you want to check it out or not. But
it's worth it. The first night was really good.
All right. Let's see. Next, Rennie Somms, he says, Booms, TNA or Japan will be hosting the next year Lucha Cup in either the USA or Japan. Well, I would imagine hosting it in the USA because I think there's more of I think they could get a better crowd for Lucha Libre in the Southwest than they could in Japan.
Yeah, hold that shit like Southern California.
Yeah, you could do that. Southern California, Arizona, New Mexico, hell, Texas.
Yeah.
Take that shit to Texas, baby. Hell, yeah, I think you can draw a bigger crowd in Texas or SoCal than you can in Japan. No disrespect to Japan, I'm just saying.
The style and the talent's there. I think it'd get better over in the Southwest, West.
Let's see. I heard that Andre Cien Almas, who was the Sombra in CMLL, is trying to get some of his buddies from CML to join NXT with him.
We need more luchadors. Because he did some good lucha stuff in that match, but I need more goddamn luchadors.
Oh, shit. I know Michael Corleone, Rush. Who else? But they are the original Los Ingober Barnables. Because they're the ones who, and because remember, Naito went over to them and they got the gimmick from them, and then he takes that over to Japan.
Yeah, because he's in his own little faction. It's like Los Ingobernables do Japan.
Yeah, so
I love cross promotion factions.
I would love that. Yeah, I think that could be the next big thing. Is you could get like some rebellious characters there and actually reform it there. I mean, hell, if you're already going to do that with the Bullet Club, and if you're going to go that far, I know this is kind of related, but that's what I'd like to see in New Japan. I'd like to see Bullet Club versus Los Ingobernables.
They need a deeper roster for Los Ingobernables, but yeah. I love faction-on-faction stories. Those are some of my absolute favorite. So I'm completely with you. I think that'd be awesome. I would love to see that.
That should be your summertime feud in Japan. There you go. They're New Japan. I just booked it for you.
There you go, Gato.
We just helped you out. Booms. EC3 recently said he's interested in doing something with AAA/Lucha Underground in the future. Bring it on. I actually managed to watch the Evolve show that he showed up on, and now I want to see what happens. I want to see what he does in Evolve. So
EC3 is great. I just can't watch TNA.
Yeah, I know. TNA and Lucha Underground wrestlers were hanging out together and chilling, showing off the USA Pride. Oh, I like that one where they spoofed the Matt Hardy video.
Yeah.
And that's actually coming from TNA, and TNA never makes fun of the stupid shit they do, but they did it with this one.
Yep. That was painful. That was like watching the wrestling version of The Room.
Yes, it was. And now they're like doing this thing where they're changing up the piano music because Matt Hardy was like playing the piano when Jeff Hardy came in. So I think think it was Botchamania or somebody where had him was playing the piano theme to Frozen. They were playing Let It Go. There, and apparently Matt Hardy's responded to it. He pretends to hate it, but I think secretly he likes it because it's gotten everybody talking, which I guess is what he wanted.
Yeah.
So he made something that was like MST3K worthy.
He really did.
Let's see. Ring Psalms, Booms, and Sammy. Will you guys be reviewing other shows on this channel like Ring of Honor and New Japan? Actually, yes. Yes, we will.
Absolutely.
I was actually going to review Ring of Honor, but then I realized I'm about a week behind now because I watched what they had online, and apparently that's behind what actually aired. So I was going to review that, but I was like, nah, I don't want to come off like a fucking pogue.
Yeah, I am covered up on Ring of Honor. I just don't know how to do solo shows yet because these grumpy old men have not showed me. So as soon as they show me, because again, I do three things. We'll say four things. I eat, I go to work, I sleep with women, and I watch wrestling. At any point during my day, you can guarantee I'm doing one of those four. So I'll try and see if we can't knock out a Ring of Honor sometime soon.
Yeah, because they've got a pay-per-view at the end of the month here that we need to start getting on board here, and then
Yes.
New Japan has Dominion coming up. Of course, there was a huge. I think we've already got the review up, but I think LK covered it. It was Will Ospreay won Best of the Super Juniors. He'll take on Kushida at Dominion a little bit later.
I wish I got to watch more New Japan.
Oh, by the way,
yes.
Did you see the picture that Will Ospreay posted?
No.
There was this picture, and I'm not shitting you. After he won the Best of the Super Juniors tournament, he's like, his mom decorated her house. She put like a British flag out. She put like two signs out. It's like, Will Ospreay, Best of the Super Juniors 2016 tournament winner, and streamers and all this shit out in front of her fucking house.
That's awesome.
Will Ospreay has the best mom ever.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I wish I got to watch more New Japan because the only New Japan I get to watch, since I don't have New Japan World, is I have to watch it on Access, which is like 8 months behind. So it's really hard to get invested in it when I know exactly what's going to happen. It's great. I mean, it's fun to watch, but you're not going to see many New Japan reviews from Mr. Sammy Synister because I'm just too far behind.
Mm-hmm. All right. Booms and Sammy, do you think the brand split will affect NXT in the long run? Yes. Because they're about to get their roster rated again. Like usually when NXT first started, you would have like one or two guys kind of go at the same time. And then they've got now where they've taken like a bunch of people. They took a bunch of people after Mania. Now they're about to get hit again. I mean, these guys got hit at the end of the year. They got hit again after Mania, and now they're about to get hit one more time.
I think they're going to get hit even harder.
Oh, yeah. I think they're going to do like a massive call-up because now they're going to have two shows they have to fill. I just don't – I wish they would do something with the talent they had and just call up whoever they needed necessarily.
Yeah. Don't call up anybody. Fucking make Fandango and Tyler Breeze have a decent program. Do something with the Social Rejects and actually make them worth a damn. You've got talent on that roster. Don't waste it. Which is why I'm pretty pissed that Titus O'Neil's getting fed to Rusev. Because I really like Titus O'Neil.
I mean, don't call up people like Apollo Crews before they're ready.
Oh, my God. Talk about fucking picking the apple before it's ready. That fruit had all of the chance. And I watched him. I'm like, okay, he doesn't have a character. Work on his character. He doesn't need any more in-ring ability. Work on his character. Work on his WWE style. Give him a year. And then this motherfucker, I said it when he first came out. I probably put it on Facebook somewhere. I was like, this guy is going to be the first black WWE heavyweight champion. And then they brought him up after like fucking 4 months. And you can kiss that bullshit goodbye. There's no way in hell.
He's going to have to learn trial by fire at this point.
Yep.
Let's see. Booms, Aja Kong, Santara Garrett, KC Spinelli, Fabi Apache, Mary Apache, and Tessa Blanchard may appear for Lucha Underground Season 3. That would be – I would like to see Aja Kong because I would like to see what she could do right there in the women's division.
because the women's division is blossoming there, which is good because I can only watch so many intergender matches. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'd like to see more of that. Santana Garrett, that would be a good get. Tessa Blanchard would be a good get. The Apache girls, not so much. I was not impressed with them at the Lucha World Cup. I was not impressed with them all. I think it was Mary Apache was the one I was least impressed with. I think she wanted to win in like luchador of like the tournament or something.
Fucking God bless Lucha Underground for introducing me to talent I would never otherwise hear of, good or bad. So we'll see. Couple more questions.
Okay, let's see. All right. Apparently that's about it. I'll just go with anybody watching Impact's pay-per-view this weekend, and I'm like, nope.
Sorry, guys. I mean, and I'm sure there's going to be a good match because I think somebody said like Drew Galloway is going against Lashley, which would be good. That'll be a really good match. And TNA guys, I have genuinely tried, and I don't go out of my way to make unnecessary fun of TNA. I really don't. I give them props are due, and I fucking poke holes in their shit when it needs to get poked holes in their shit. The problem is they fuck up a lot, which wouldn't be that big of a deal, but they refuse to admit it.
Mm-hmm.
And I tried for like 2 months to watch that show, and I just can't do it. It's just not good right now.
It is not. And last one, let's see. Will NXT be on television or still on the network? I think they'll still be on the network. The latest thing I heard was there was rumors that they may try to expand SmackDown to 3 hours.
I hope not.
Which I think would be the kiss of fucking death, because then you have 6 hours of WWE television to watch within 48 hours.
And I love that's just too much.
Wow, that is just way too much. I mean, hell, look at how they're booking Raw right now.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine that goes over to SmackDown.
Yeah.
Sorry, getting tired here. Andy Paps, he's got his tickets for NXT TakeOver Brooklyn. Congratulations! And then he's suggesting Kenny Omega versus Naito for Wrestle Kingdom 11.
That'd be cool. I think. I don't know. I don't know who else from the Bullet. I like Kenny Omega, but there's got to be someone else in the Bullet Club I'd rather see go up against. Naito.
Bad luck Fale.
Oh God, it was not bad by any means. You know, fucking Dave constantly shat on him and Doc Gallows, but I'm like, they're really good big men. Like, what's there to shit on?
Nothing else, but. All right, kids, I guess that's going to do it for me because I got to get in the bed. He's got to go get in the bed. We've got big days tomorrow of, drinking and doing nothing. God, I wish that was true.
Fucking wish. I work the next 9 days in a row.
Ouch.
Yep.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for us. It's time for some shameless self-promotion. We'll tell everybody to check us out at KocoSports.com. It's your home for combat sports. It's where the world goes to kick ass, and most importantly, where it's okay to be a passionate fan. Also, you can find us at prowrestling.me. That's correct, not a .com. It's prowrestling.me. Let's see. I've got a pick'em contest already going right now for the draft, where you can pretty much guess who you think is going to wind up where, and the person with the most correct picks gets the win. I've also posted a blog up. I've been reviewing the monthly wrestling subscription services, been circulating for a while now. And so if you've been curious about that, I pretty much lay everything out for you, where the company is, how much they charge, how much shipping, and what kind of goodies you can get. So I've got that there on the blog, so be sure to check that out. And I don't know when Dave's going to be back doing stuff because he's working right now, and LK's fighting like tonsillitis, so wishing him a speedy recovery. So you're going to have to deal with me and him holding down the fort until then. So this is Booms for Sammy Synister saying the boom just went bang, and I am out.